It's the We'll Fix It in Post podcast with Gnarly Charlie and Rick McNeil.
This is going to be a good show.
I like the full bandness. So, like, what would you call this, a front stage experience right now? Because we're not backstage. We're in front of the sound check.
That sounds accurate. Accurate. So it's a great day to be in the park. We're good?
Yeah.
It's a great day to be in the park and a great day to have a nice breeze. This breeze is going to make our first free concert series show a lot better.
We're in Porterville, California, and being the history buff that I am, I looked up what Porterville was. Like, was it named after a guy named Porter? No, named after a guy named Royal Porter Putnam. Porter was his middle name, but they went with it for the town name. But his name was Royal.
Make sure you tell that story tonight to everybody.
Royal, his name was Royal, but Porter, and they don't have an official song, and I am saying that they should do Hey Porter by Johnny Cash should be their song.
So I actually know something weird about Porterville. So I know that there used to be an acting troupe here, like the Porterville Playhouse or something like that. And Ann B. Davis from the Brady Bunch. Alice from the Brady Bunch was either a member of that troupe or she appeared in one of the shows.
Oh, you know, up in Three Rivers, there's a lot of actors that, like William Shatner had a house up there, and I don't know if you knew, but Desi Arnaz and Lucy had a house out in Dinuba.
I did know that.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy how all that stuff comes to be. You know?
Yeah, I think it's hard for anybody who lives in Southern California to not want to get away from it once in a while, right?
You know what? As I get older, I always hated history. History's boring, but I'm interested in it now. Like, I want to know, why did they name it Porterville? They could have named it Royalville. They could have named it Putnamville, but they just said, no, we're going with Porter.
Could have been a million things, but no, it's Porterville. And
since I've been working at this station, he's kind of been around a lot. You know, he did the first big show. We did the Gnarly Seats, and it was kind of like, I feel like we have a relationship with him. In fact, after we left Texas, you and I were going to the airport, and him and his wife came and sat down by us. We're like, hey, we're all friends.
That was nice. We saw him at the airport.
Yeah.
Well, so a lot has happened since we got on the Ferris wheel at the Hanford, at the King's Fair in Hanford. That was, can I just say, that was scary.
You know, and it was sort of my idea, and as I didn't think it would happen. And as it started to happen, I go, this is my fault. I need to shut up what I wish for.
I have not been on a fair carnival Ferris wheel for many, many years. That was really different for me.
Well, there was no one else on the thing. So we're like the only car, which meant if it did stop, it just shook.
And it's me, and it's you, and it's Hector. And none of us are shopping in the petite size at Dress Barn. None of us. And
those little doors too. They look like I get busted with my pinky.
To get into the Ferris wheel, we had to get into the little doors. That was the biggest thing.
It's like a little saloon door that would not hold us if we wanted it to.
That was great. So a few things have happened since then. The most exciting thing in my life was I broke my ass again, right?
Well, let's go back a second. You and I were on an adventure. We spent the whole day together.
Yeah.
We have a giant 14-foot jug we were taking to get repaired.
We're taking it to get redone. The jug is going to get redone. And then we went and saw Mitzi and Dave, our buddies, at the Save Mart Center, talking about some of the shows that are coming up, Old Dominion and Eric Church and a few other things. And we had lunch over by Fresno State, over by the old Willikers.
Yeah. Black Angus.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is the weirdest part of where this story's going, is about 2 miles from where we were going, a mile, I go, look at that. That's the bank that I was in a bank robbery at, and I almost died. And I'm telling you the story. And then you said, gosh, think about all the times we might have almost died.
Yeah.
And then I'm like going, yeah, that's crazy. And then what happened, Rick?
I literally said it's a miracle that we're still alive with all the things that we've seen, which is just, pretty accurate, actually. So then we pull into Starbucks. We get out of the K-Jug van. We go in, and we're waiting for a drink. You didn't get a drink.
I was already caffeined out. I was a little jittery. But I went in for the ride, We're checking it out.
Got the drink. We're getting out. We're getting back into the van. And as I'm getting into the van, I put one foot up and the van is kind of high. One foot up on the step, then the second foot up on the step. And as I'm lifting myself to get in, the cover of the handle gives way.
Yes.
And I go back and I can't get my feet down, so I just go back, ass over elbows.
I say it's like in football when you get decleated, like your back hit the ground before your feet did.
Yeah.
And it was like it's kind of like a body slam. You went that fast.
My tailbone first and my back and my coffee. This was miraculous. I had a big iced coffee. It goes over behind me, flips over twice, lands perfectly.
Sit straight up.
Stuck the landing.
And so I'm in the passenger seat and I say, cuss word, Rick, and I run around the van. I don't know what I'm going to see. I don't know if there's going to be a CSI pool of blood. I don't know if you're in the car next to you. I didn't know.
He comes around. His face is white, and I say, did you see the coffee?
Yeah. I go, really? The coffee. I mean, that's magnificent.
He's like, don't get up, don't move.
Well, they always say, like, when someone, I don't know, has a broken spine. I don't know if you're wheelchair bound. I don't know if you're Stephen Hawkins at this point now.
Terrible things could have happened,
Yes, no, it's inches from, you don't know, if you would have hit your head just right.
Yeah, what I've been saying is that it's another day where I was super, super lucky. I could have hurt myself. I did hurt myself. I'm hurt.
But then I thought, if you had happened today, which I'm glad you didn't, no one would have believed I would. When you said 4 minutes ago, man, think of all the times we've almost died. I mean, it was like we called it. We put it in the universe.
Well, so this is what I love. I was talking to, I forget who I was talking to about it. Oh, it's my mom. I was talking to my mom. And I said, the terrible thing is that if something had happened to me, everybody would have said, oh, he was with Charlie.
Yeah, I would have totally been blamed.
You would have been blamed for that. You had nothing to do with it, and you still would have taken the blame.
It's weird. I kind of fell into that role when about 20, where all the wives didn't really like me because I think it was easy for the guys to blame me, even when I wasn't there, for their misbehaving. Oh, yeah, Joe Gnarly was there. Oh, it got crazy.
Do we run tracks out there?
I'm the scapegoat.
You are the scapegoat. You wear it well. And the problem is you just accept it. Somebody tries to give you the scapegoat jacket, you just say, give it to me.
Yep.
I'm putting it on.
Bring it on. I'll take it.
I will wear it.
I will wear this for you.
I am now the Baron of Scapegoat.
Yes. Whatever he said, that's exactly the way it happened.
Yes. All right. So want to take a minute to talk about a kid that we were talking about shouting out, and that is our buddy from Orosi, Pablo Lua.
Now, let me tell you, you introduced Pablo to me, and you said, I am fascinated with this kid because he's got a podcast, and it didn't even matter if two people were listening to it or what, but the way he prepared and the things he did to this podcast. And then we started listening. I go, it's really good.
We really enjoyed it. They are kind of like a 30 years younger, maybe a 40 years younger version of frickin' frack that we are. But what I love about these guys is that these guys have hustle.
Yes,
they are there to do it. So Pablo went away. We were looking at having Pablo and Joseph as interns. Didn't work out. But Pablo went away to San Jose State. So I talked to him the other day, and he says, I'm staying up here for the summer, but I don't have the dorms anymore, so I'm pretty much homeless. I'm like, well, why don't you come home?
And he wasn't saying like a joke. Like, he literally is living in his car.
And he says, no, I want to build my business. I want to build my car detailing business, so I need to be here for it. So I'm sleeping in my car in front of my friend's house.
And you know what, though? You said to me, too, you go, I think it's weird, but I admire that he's doing it. And it will build, it shows that he's dedicated to what he's talking about.
Yeah, I am absolutely in awe of the hustles.
I go from homeless to making $30,000 in the next 60 days with just my car detailing business. All right, guys, to wrap up what happened yesterday, we didn't have any details, but I did lock in on Google Ads. And 40 minutes later, we got a call for an interior ceramic coating and a full interior and exterior detail. And I quoted the customer $390. So tomorrow we're gonna execute our first ceramic coating. So this is definitely taking steps in the right direction, getting to those higher ticket days. Sneak peek, tomorrow is one of our biggest days so far. So if you guys wanna see me go from homeless to making $30,000 in the next 60 days with just my car detailing business, hit that follow button.
Hey, look, that's amazing. But have you ever slept in your car? I slept at the Vegas border. I used to go at what was that place? Pete's it's right at the border of Nevada.
Yes.
What is that called? Boomtown, maybe?
Prim.
Yeah. Yes, Prim. Yeah, I would go there and I would play roulette with all my money, like one roll. And that would determine if I went to Vegas or not.
That's smart. I like that. Yeah, I have many times. We went camping, car camping all the time, which is our fancy way of saying we put the seat backs and go to sleep.
I remember when we were going to go to Disneyland as a kid. The night before, I hatched a plan. Me and my brother and sister, we're going to sleep in the car. So when we wake up, we'll be at Disneyland. Well, it ended up being the worst night's sleep ever. We didn't sleep very well, and I was wide awake when my mom and dad got in the car, and it did not work. And then I was grouchy and tired all day at Disneyland. We are front stage right now. It's a private show. And you probably can't hear like we can, but...
So you're going to love this. Graylin James tonight at the Porterville Centennial Park. And by the time you see this, the show will have already been awesome.
You know, he wrote a song with Carson Wallace, who's from around here. He wrote a song for Kenny Chesney called Happy Days. I want to ask him about that because he's too young. And I was doing his bio. He started playing guitar at 5. At 5, I pooped my pants and didn't know how to walk. I don't know. I didn't play the guitar, I'll tell you that.
People are lining up in advance to make sure they have a good spot to pee at in the park.
we should talk about this on the poles. Huh? On the poles?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep. Anybody who's anybody. Do you know any good dog jokes?
Dog jokes? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know this dyslexic guy. He always worships dog. I know a dyslexic guy that prays the dog.
Have I told you my filthy dog joke?
No, let me hear it.
So a guy is in a shipwreck.
Okay.
And he's stranded on a deserted island with only 2 animals, a pig and a dog. And after a few months there, the pig is starting to look a little attractive.
Mm-hmm.
And so he decides one day to grab a hold of the pig, and the dog just freaks out. The dog freaks out, won't let him get anywhere near the pig, and he's like, okay, all right. So he waits a couple months later, but he's lonely. So one day he says, I'm going to give it another try. He reaches out for the pig, and the dog just goes after him.
Aggressive.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, well, this is not going to work out. So flash forward a couple of weeks, and there's another terrible storm. And lo and behold, a beautiful, blonde, voluptuous playmate washes up on shore. And he says, oh, my God, this is my lucky day. Thank God you're here. Do me a favor, hold on to that freaking dog.
Okay, all right.
Oh.
Well, wait, remember that dog that walked into the bar? And he said, I'm looking for the man that shot my paw.
All right, so we're getting ready to go to Yosemite for the 3rd year in a row. I'm excited about this because we're going to have Vincent Mason and we're going to have Brendan Monroe for the Cajun Country Campout.
And we're more prepared now, too, because We know the dangers of bears. I've been studying it up.
Well, so last year, we're going to be ready for bears if we have an issue, but last year, Charlie did all of his preparation preparing for the danger of an errant Bigfoot wandering into camp.
I still believe there's a bipedal mountain gorilla somewhere in the Sierra Nevadas, and I want to run into him.
Well, August 19th, there will be 2.
There will be 2
bipedal mountain gorillas, maybe 3, possibly 4 if Bob comes. So there it is.
Okay, I did find out the abominable snowman. That's in the snow area. These would be Sasquatch or Yetis. Is what we're dealing with.
Well, so I thought Yeti. So Yeti is not.
Well, I could be wrong. Yetis are cooler. It probably is a snow one too.
All right.
I don't know.
Well, I do know this. It's time for another nature hike.
Yes.
It's time for another barbecue, and we're going to be doing the shows live in the lobby at the Tenaya Lodge, which is fantastic.
And there's when you go outside, you can smell the lack of pollution. It's like, oh, this is what it's supposed to smell like.
Well, it's going to be a great summer. For July 3rd, we're going to be in the Riverway Sports Park with Mackenzie, Carpenter.
Yeah.
And then on July 24th, Cece in Exeter.
Do you think, is Carpenter, you think it's a stage name, or do you think she might be somewhat related to the Carpenters?
I think you need to consider carefully your next words. What do you think?
Well, you're talking to a guy named Gnarly Charlie, so I want to believe that she's a carpenter. Jesus was a carpenter. Why can't she be?
Charlie asks. He keeps sending me texts like, "What day do we have to be there for Karen's show?" I'm like, "What? Right. Ms. Carpenter." I'm like,
Karen's daughter.
Man.
Karen's daughter.
Come on. So Cece, I saw in Napa not too long ago. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
She's going to do an amazing show. And then Dylan Schneider, who you're buddies with Dylan, aren't you?
Yeah, I call him Schneiderman.
Yeah.
And he likes it. But he's young, but he's funny. He kind of goofs around and.
Yeah, he's done a couple of shows for us, and I went and saw him at the Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Great guy, full band. It's a rockin' show.
Hi, run! Stranger danger.
It's nice to watch kids walk into the park, see Charlie, and immediately activate the stranger danger protocol.
And then I love it when the parents then try to say, no, that's the guy from the radio. They're like, yeah, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah. I know he drove here in a white van, Mom.
You said you taught me stranger danger. Now you want me to go touch the long-haired guy over here? No.
Come on. I have to be the adult here, Mom? Damn. What I love about Dylan Schneider is that he writes a great bunch of his songs, and he saves the best songs for himself. He is that guy who doesn't give away the songs he loves.
I think okay, even today, Mr. Grayland James, he's already got Kenny Chesney running. I bet when he was 7, Kenny Chesney was big as he. Can you imagine if you said, "Hey, future Grayland, you're going to write a song for that guy someday"?
Yeah.
You would like, what?
That's the greatest thing about country music. You get to see people pursuing their dreams, and when things go right, you get to see people achieving their dreams.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we both came from different formats. I was on the rock thing. You were kind of a pop. But when the Van Halen would come to town, I had no expectation of meeting the band, Where in country music, the fans can join a fan club, and it's a different vibe. You really can shake their hand and get to know them, where in not all formats you can do that.
Yep.
That's one thing I love about country. And you'll have a 5-year-old to a 99-year-old fans of the same music.
Huh?
And then my eardrum exploded. Let's talk about Hector.
Let's talk about Hector for a minute. I'm pretty sure he can't hear us.
I like the fact that he does not want to be on the show at all. He wants zero attention. And he puts up with it, but he's like, come on, man. Leave me out of this. Leave me out of this.
So somehow my phone updated itself. After I updated, it changed my name and is sending out to all my contacts a new name.
Yep.
And it was
Rick Mama.
Rick Mama.
Rick Mama. And I thought I did it. I go, how did I change his name to Rick Mama? What did I do? And it was kind of nice to know it was your fault.
Well, I guess it was my fault. So I tried to fix it, and just as a joke, I put in Rick Daddy.
Yeah.
And now I can't find where I fixed it to unfix it. So everybody is like, "Hey, Rick," but yeah.
Big Daddy. Big Daddy.
They've got a weird sound and hitch in their voice when they talk to me on the phone now.
Who's your Rick Daddy? Rick. I do like when you spell Rick with R-E-E-K.
Reek.
Reek.
Oh.
So,
Never fall on your ass out of the van.
It wasn't. It's a false understating it. It was a body slam out of the van.
I mean, seriously, I was telling somebody, I'm like, because I don't mind telling you, I just turned 60. I'm 60 years old. Never thought I'd see 60 years old.
Right.
But I was telling somebody the other day, I'm not an Indiana Jones 60 years old. I'm a Wilfred Brimley 60 years old.
That is. I totally understand that.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, and think about it. We're at the age now to where if we were to die, it's not tragic. Like, oh yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Hey, do you know Hector who Wilfred Brimley is? The Quaker Oats guy.
Did you ever see the movie Cocoon? Do you know what a cocoon is?
Wilfred Brimley has white hair. He was married to George Bush. Sorry.
Oh,
sorry. I love Barbara Bush.
I thought that was George Washington.
Yeah. So
is it Barbara Bush on the dollar, the $1 bill?
Yeah. I'm not a Sean Connery.
No.
60.
No.
I'm not making Never Say Never, the last Sean Connery James Bond movie. I'm more like a Grandma Moses 60, right?
You know, Sean Connery could never train his dog because every time he said sit, it sounded like he wanted to go to the bathroom.
I loved when they impersonated Sean Connery on Jeopardy.
Oh, that was the best.
Saturday Night Live.
Trebek. Like I was with your mom last night.
I know. He talked about Trebek's mother a lot. Didn't he?
Always. And then Will Ferrell's Trebek, and he's just like, being like, just, please, let's get back to the game.
Bewildered, yeah.
Yes, stop.
All right. Well, so we had a great sound check here. I think that Graylin James is going to be eating upstairs. They're going to go upstairs and have a bite to eat before the show at 6:30. So it turned out pretty cool that we decided to come out here to do the podcast today.
You know, that's one thing about this podcast. We've been to a park. Now we've been to a sound check. We've been on a Ferris wheel.
Yep.
Who knows? Maybe we should be heroes and go to space.
Maybe we should be in a diving bell.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Oh, what about on horseback?
I'm not doing that stuff. You know, one of the things that I love about Porterville is that they pay tribute to their service members downtown with the flags that they fly on the light posts.
And there's hundreds of them.
I mean, it was probably, I don't know, it was maybe 3 months ago. I remember when it was. It was just before we did the Christmas parade out here. We came out here for something.
Yeah.
And we drove around just looking at them and thinking about how cool they are and thinking about what a great tribute it is when people do that in their cities.
Yeah. It's like every pole is honoring vets. It's great.
There's somebody whose life changed in service to their country, and they honor them all. Porterville, I've heard for many years, had a disproportionate number of service members grew up in this city. It's a very civic-minded city, and a lot of service members here in Porterville.
Okay, when you pull into town, there's that big statue. It's a farmer sitting on a plow, and it's called I think it's a farmer. He's contemplating these seeds and he's holding them. It's paying tribute to farming because cattle and citrus is Porterville.
Cattle and citrus, a little cotton on the way in.
Yeah, a little cotton too.
Heck yes. Hey, well, so the park is starting to fill up. We're gonna have a great show here tonight, and I do want to remind everybody that our shows this year are, and I can give you the dates. Some of them may pass before you have a chance to to hear this, but July 3rd, we're going to be at Riverway Sports Park, and we have Mackenzie Carpenter and a tribute band called Fast Times. There's going to be a lot of cool 70s and 80s stuff. And then on July 24th, Exeter at the Veterans Memorial Building, in the park there, we are going to have Cece. She is, there's no way to describe her except badass. She's fantastic.
She's like country pink.
Yeah.
But tougher.
She has a song called All Boots. All Boots, No Cowboy, and it just kind of tells exactly what she's all about. I love it.
Like if you're a dime store, drugstore cowboy, she's gonna sniff you out.
Yep.
If you've never been on a horse, you ain't a cowboy.
Yep. She will spot you a mile off. And then on that's July 24th. And then on August 15th, we're gonna be in Woodlake at City Park in Woodlake, and we're gonna have Dylan Schneider.
Yes, that's gonna be awesome.
Dylan
Schneider man.
Great. He's always got a great crew with him. He's always got the coolest merch too. He comes up with some really great ideas.
Well, and I noticed that we're doing full bands this year too. Is that kind of a new thing?
It is a new thing. So we usually have acoustic sets here, and we do a couple of acoustic sets of about 30 minutes. But this is something that we really thought would kind of bring the show to another level. Do hour-long sets, do full band, bring a more rich experience.
Yeah, no,
and I think tonight's.
And louder sound checks. Louder sound checks.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You know, this right here in front of us, it kind of reminds me of in Back to the Future, where Doc drove 88 miles an hour. I think it was right here. This is where they got the idea from it. Porterville's kind of got that Back to the Future feel.
It was a mall.
It was a mall.
It was a mall. Marty. And remember, Einstein went back.
Yes.
6 seconds.
Well, I did the clock tower. Remember the clock tower had hit just right?
Yes. Our question today, which is all about radio geekiness.
Yep.
Let's talk about it. Who is that radio person who, when you first got into radio, you listened to, and you know the whole fake it till you make it thing? Who did you emulate when you first got into radio?
For me, I first admired was Nick Ryan and Gary Chase, and I ended up getting to work with Gary Chase. I remember being nervous working with him, but I also remember Roscoe and his dog Romero. Was it Roscoe Romero?
Roscoe and Romero.
Roscoe and Romero.
Danny Romero, and the dog was Roscoe.
Yeah, and I remember that. And I also remember John Lee Walker in the morning.
Yeah.
John Lee Walker in the morning.
So yeah, John Lee was really big right about the time your junior and senior year in high school.
Yeah.
It was a big deal. So I listened to Danny Romero a lot, but when I was a little younger, he didn't have his dog Roscoe with him on the radio. He was Disco Danny Romero on 13 Kino.
I think my biggest fan though was Dean and Don. I really loved Dean and Don of KKDJ.
These guys were amazing.
That's what made me want to get into radio.
Yeah.
You know, they're being silly and funny on the air, and even Al Radke. I never heard him on the radio, but he was a radio guy at the beginning, and he ended up doing all the commercials.
Yeah,
but
he used to come into Kino and record his stuff with Carl Kawasaki. Was his favorite board op. He would come in and Carl would run the board. He would record his Bertie Olives, and he would record his 2-for-1 L'Amour.
Well, we should give Carl Kawasaki a shout out. Rest in peace, Carl.
Rest in peace. Carl was a good guy.
Yeah.
I darkened the door of many DeChicos and Lum Lums with Carl Kawasaki.
Hey, did you see that E. Curtis Johnson retired? He was a PD of mine, one of mine, and I wrote on there and I said something about, he helped me a lot, and how he said one of his famous quotes to me was, "Charlie, more music, less you."
Wow, that's great. Hey, E. Curtis is an OG, man. He has had a hand in what people hear in entertainment on the radio in the Valley for years and years. And somebody posted on his LinkedIn yesterday, I just saw it, somebody posted, "You are a legend." And he says, "I'm not a legend, but thanks for the kind words." I would say he is a legend. He's a big part of California radio history, and E. Curtis has done it all.
Well, think about it. What would a legend say? He would not say he's a legend.
Yeah.
Because legends aren't supposed to know they're legends.
Yep.
And you're supposed to not be a legend.
Sorry, E., but you kind of are a legend.
And one of my favorite E stories, it was Manfest, and he's known. He's got his he's a Mormon bishop. But he also worked at a rock station, And I remember going, because it was Memphis, there was all these like stripper girls around and stuff. Like, oh, look, there's E in the corner losing his religion.
Not cool, Charlie.
Not cool at all.
Not
Sorry.
cool.
I'm sorry, Mrs. E, if you're listening. He didn't do anything.
It was in the parking lot only. Yeah. Hey, we should say goodbye to another radio legend. Marv Allen passed away.
Oh, wow.
And Marv Allen has been the voice over at KVPR for a long, long time, but he also had Studio B Productions. And over the years, so many people stopped by Studio B Productions, his little recording studio right there on Van Ness Boulevard. I did a Gottschalk's commercial in there once. And John Wallace did a ton of those there. I forget who the original voice of Gottschalk's was before John Wallace, though.
I think I know that. I can't. He also did a gospel show. It was Serendipity. It was that guy. I forgot his name, but
we'll think of it as soon as we're in our car.
As soon as we're done,
leaving.
We'll know.
But Marv Allen was a good guy and a true broadcaster, and I was terribly sorry to hear that he passed away.
Well, as we say goodbye, I do want to thank Hector for all the work he does behind the scenes. He really does. He makes this thing happen. Thank you, Hector.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like that he cleans up the mess that we make.
All right, Hector. What's good for the goose is good for the geese.
That's right. He's learning them. That's right. That is correct.
Yes. Who's got a participation trophy here?
Oh, that a boy, Hector.
All right. We'll be coming to you from a different park.
Isn't a
next
hectare
time.
a measurement of something? It's a hectare.
It's a hectare. Yeah.
Yeah. What is that? Speed or is it land mass? I don't even know. What's a hectare, Hector?
It's a bully? A hectare is a bully?
Oh yeah. The hectare are you doing?
What's your hectare, Hector? What's your vector, Victor?
Batman's really going to tell me.
Have a good one, Charlie.
All right. Thanks, Rick. This is fun. Reek and quit falling out of vans.